according to my notes, we're on page Taf Reish Vav, and we're in this concept of Isnehiras Ima, and I translate Isnehiras as is illuminated, that she is illuminated. So he said, "Bebir inyan v'isnehiras Ima." So let's talk about this. This is number Hey. He says, "Rei bebir meshula l'fi Rizal sheniz boyer al pi the Eitz Chaim." He says over there in Shartal again. Shehu so bir rishona de Abba ve'imba be'ez brias olam. So this idea of what that she becomes illuminated is that very first yichud between Abba ve'ima at the creation of the world, which I think needs some explanation about what he means by creation of the world. He means this world or beginning of, I'm not sure what he means. And bevura be'etz chaim, it says over there, b'sham hu be'bechinas hamshachas mochim b'kol kumas ima. So he says over there in the Eitz Chaim that it's the beginning of a hamshacha from all of the shuhu bechinas hamshachas mochim b'kol kumas ima that spread throughout all of ima. So this is a shefa that's coming through. V'im came zehu she'amar kan. So therefore, this original hamshacha that goes all throughout ima is really where it says v'isnehira ima shaharech mochim me'irim b'kol kumas ima, because now we see the mochin are now shining everywhere. Because that's the idea over there. So now we're setting up a little thing here. Apparently there's a machlokas here between the Gra and the Ari. So it says now a number of bases of Bebira Meshula the Fia Gra. Now let's come over here, and he says like this. His buyer gam came Indian v'hiras ima. So also we all talk about that over here too. So he's talking about zivug abba v'ima, and it's also talking about a yichud taking place between abba v'ima. Hanaasa mekoch mochim v'chasadim begevuras chadashim. So no chasadim gevuras chadashim. This is a different stage. Vayidei kain be'ira ima b'tosefes ha'ara, and this causes ima, apparently the wanting to give to her children and to build up this chasadim gevuras. As we're going to see in the Pirush that he has a little note down below. Well, we could pick that up. So he says that. So therefore, that's what's causing a betosefes of ara and ima, of ara and ima, as we're going to see. Let's go down here and let me see if I can zoom in on number Kaf Zion. Number Kaf Zion, small print. He says hine gam l'hagrua. So also we have a pirush from the Gra here. B'vur shehu zivug abav ima ba'od zer v'nuk. Omdim ach ba'ach. So the Gra also agrees that this is a yichud that's taking place. What? Mevur hu zivug the abba ve'ima ba'od zer anpin are in a state of ach ta'ach. Now let's so they're not disagreeing on that part. But b'divrei Gra shachan nesira na'asis ta'acher v'istehirus ima ein sham. So he says again that the nesira takes place after the illumination of ima. So what do we got with here? What is he saying? Now, so therefore, from this point of view, it looks like it's similar to what the Rizal says. The Rizal says, it talks about the Bia Rishona, the position that they're still in the Ach Ba'ach position, as repeated over there in the Eitz Chaim. But there's a difference between the two. There are two understandings here. And what that zivug is coming, the gadlus, the ivor sheni, of Khan, as explaining over here. So he's saying that this is actually, I guess, I would say, Mayim Duchrin, which is coming as a result of Mayim Nukvin, which came out as a result of this, of the, I guess, came from down below and produced all of this. V'im came ein the zech of ziva the ava v'iba the bechinas b'ir rishona. This is not the b'ir rishona. The asiyas klich and nizgach b'divarizal. That's not the same thing. So shaharech b'inyan the asiyas kli, that Indian that we talk about making the kli. who rak la'achar kanesis mochin the godless the Iver Sheni. So it's only when you're talking about the stage called Iver Sheni. Let me just bring my video down a little bit lower. Let me see if I can find it here just a second. So the godless the Iver Sheni. The Oz Naasa Zivug Noisif the Abba Ve'Iba Besod Asias Kli Kanoida, because you have over there the beginning is where you have a yichud to make a kli. B'chein yesh l'hoyer, so we have to point this out here. L'locha betzina b'divrei hagro sheyevoyer kan inyan b'er rishona derasias kli klal. He doesn't talk about the making of a kli. That's not what this is. In other words, on this concept, v'is nehiris ima, he says it really has to do with the production of the shefa that's going to come down into Zohar B'nok. That's really what it's about, is to bring mocha to godless. He says, and he doesn't talk about the Bia Rishon at all for the purpose of making a kli. So then he says, klal, lo ba'aba v'lo v'ima, v'lo b'zer v'nok, v'yesh lomar. Oh, there's other places where you see that they're not learning the same way. But the truth is that we find in the words of the Gra that he always says up above, who ain't a rock loholid bonim v'leseis lechem mochim v'lekaim ben kamashakasav. In other words, it's not just to grow the children and to produce the children, kamashakasav the mata adkan. He made sign the devolve kan, so he points out these words over here. Also, so maybe, I guess, what is he trying to do? He's trying to reconcile the different meanings of what is Nahira. Is Nahira is Ima. He's trying to say what this means. Perhaps, that wants to say that there's not a separate yichud between Abba ve'ima first to make a kli and then to be able to do all the rest. Okay, but anyway, there's more about that, different kinds of looks at what Isnahiris means. So let's go on to number Gimel. So we saw another view over here. So he says, Rei La'el, look up above, Shehuva Divri Ha'or Yakar, Shabir in Isnahiris Ima, where he brings out the idea of the illumination of Ima, Bekam B'chofanim, so da. V'hosev sham nevoyer ovazel l'shona, so he adds on to explain this. V'isnehiris ima, he habina hameira maor elyon. So this is bina, okay, no. So he's shining for the light that comes from up above her, from panimi to her. V'nei sha'ora, that the light that's in her comes from Kaser. V'kach Amar isnehiris stam. Now, I'm not sure that I understand this. So he says that there just it says is the hero, she becomes illuminated. Below shaykh lemema, and it's not proper, I guess, appropriate to say on here in the ima that it shines to ima. That's not what it's saying. It's really saying somehow it's inside of ima. I think that's what he means. I'm not sure. The low shaykh lemema and on here lima leima that's shining to her. Mishum the hasam. Tamid Meir, because over there it is constantly shining. That's over there where it says it's shining on Eva. Ella Sha'ato. Okay, so we just got a little interruption. This is not that easy to piece this together. Doing the best I can. So Hashem should help me to understand it better. Okay, here he comes back. Rabbi's coming back. Okay, and he says like this. He says. Ella Sha'ata Hakavana is the hero's ima vadai. That actually what it means is that she's actually becomes illuminated herself. K'dei lahanik, and why does she do that? The purpose of her doing that is k'dei lahanik levanim, so she should have, it's like making milk or something like that, metaphoric. Hatzoakim chutza liyanek mechalba, that are crying outside of her because the Zohar V'nok surround you could look at it like that. They surround Ima. Liana Mechalva, they want to drink from her milk. But and then here's another idea. It's not that just that she's shining from the inside, but she also shines out, or she illuminates from the whiteness shorshecha of her root, which is coming from Kaser. From shorshecha elyona shebekaser adkan. Okay, that's an interesting idea. She shines with the whiteness of Kesser. Okay, well, let's move on to number Daled. Beferish Maurice Rook. Well, we always like the Maurice Rook. Let's see what he says. Beer kan vidarko le'el. The higher bestipas zer venuk. So what is? I thought we said is the hearers ima. So that's how it goes. That we're talking about what this drop, which contains in it, I guess, all the mochid or all everything, the DNA of Zohar venuk. Shanasan Abba the Ima, and this he places Abba puts us this in Ima besod ha yichud ein sham. So there's a yichud there, and this zachav v'nok, this DNA or the energy, or I don't know what's the right word, the seed. He says he calls it seed. He said or a drop. He says the Ima besod the yichud ein sham that is put into her. But the Zechav Bir Khan Bezel Shaliv is the Hiris Ima. She's now illuminated or shining. Koloma shel Yosha HaMeluyim shel Shem Av. Now Av is a milui. Now I'm not sure what he means. So he says shel Meluyim shel Av, who is Abba. Neknasim mat mat el toch me. Ima goes little by little into the womb. I guess I'm calling it the womb. Let's say the innards of Ima. L'shafer zarnukvo, in order to beautify or perfect, let's say, zer anpin, v'levardav b'dinim, and to refine out from him the dinim. So he's saying, what's happening over here? So the meluyim of the shem Av. So the name Av, he just means the milui without the. That's probably what he means. He says, but he means the milui without the pashat. So he just means which is the milui of Av is what is that the one that's not 37? It's what 40 something 46. So he says so the milui of Av is 46. That's going to go into mat little by little to the inside of Ima. Because they have the shafers, and why is it coming in? Why do we need this Av the milui of Av to come in here? Because it has a shafir job. It cleans up zer anpin, polishes him up, v'levardo medinim, and remove the dinim from him. We have now another interruption. That took a little bit of work there. Try to piece that together. I do the best I can. It's something I'm losing it, a little bit. Okay, waiting for Rabbi to come back. Shem should help us to understand this a little bit better. What's going on here? Rabbi, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there all that long? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, man. That's where we got. So this is the idea. Is what it does is it purifies. It's a purification kind of illumination that comes into Ima. Merucha. So he said, "V'hi Ima marvucha also ha'ara b'soch gufa." So there's a multiplication of light that comes into her body. That light is going to help Zohar v'nuk. So here we come to another one, number hey. I'm sorry. He says, Ray Bahadras Melech. Look over there, Bahadras Melech. Shabir Kam Bazel Deshana is Nehiris Ima Basroy. So now she become. We're getting over to maybe a different little idea coming up. He said, is Nehiris Ima Basroy. So he says, in her gates, I guess in Basroy, it means great gates, and she becomes illuminated. Nun Shari Bina Kavuyim Ba Tamid L'Kiyim Olamos. So she constantly has 50 gates that are also always fixed. I guess he means fixed open, so that she should be able to help to or bring about the sustenance for the world. Zivugim zes, because they're zivug, they're the Abba v'Ima the Tzorach Kiyim Olamos, and the Abba v'Ima for the purpose of Kiyim the Olamos, so that all that Yichuv is really for the purpose of that Shefa. No Yechsar Afila Rega never stops even for a moment. But Davka Zivuk on the Kudas, so also the Zivuk of the Kudos, the Abba v'Ima, and I know why he said the Kudos, because I'm thinking about the earlier shiurim that we heard earlier today. But Davka Zivuk on the Kudos, the Abba v'Ima, L'Holid L'Shambas Chadashos. So it's that Yichud for that purpose. Bei Ismar, on that it's written, Lo avo b'Yerushalayim shal ma'ala. You can't come to the Yerushalayim shal ma'ala because Moshe Kosav Rav Ad Khan. So I'm not sure that I understood this. There is a Kaf Ches on this. I will come back and see it again if I try to understand it. So he says, "L'chayra kavanasena." So what we're trying to say over here, and what was he talking about? He says that there are nun sharibina. Ki hine etzel nukva amr ishashka nukva. So when we talked about Malchus, we talked about her becoming dark. But now we're talking about Ima. Is Nehiris Ima. It's saying that Ima is illuminated. Your different stages here. So he said, so here explains really the differentiation. There's times where the yichud nukva is nipsuk, the zehu bechinas is chashka, which would cause as a result of that darkness. Leumas yichud ima, which is not corresponding to the yichud of ima, which with Abba, she'ena nipsuk the oilam, which never stops. Except it seems like, when we have the Nasira that it does stop. I don't really understand that little sequence over there, but he said that she'ena nipsak la'olam. Is Nehiris. That's the idea. Is Nehiris. She's illuminated because of the fact she has a constant. Let's see, this energy coming in from Abba is constantly illuminating her. So this is the way the Matak Medavash also explains it. When you don't have a yichud zon, it causes the darkness. Then darkness at the nukva, she's completely barren. So that's what happens. But when we turn it around, it's a different category. That's why she's illuminated, because she has for perpetuity. She has this light of Abba inside of her always, Ad Khan. I think that's it today. Thank you. Well, I still really feel like I understood shot this last one. I understood what the some of that, but let's see how I get this thing off. There we go. Okay, this is Baruch Flashman.